What would you do if there was a 5-star general, Medal of Honor recipient, former superintendent of West Point? What would you do if an individual of this stature challenged your authority? You know deep down that what you want to do and what you know you need to do is the right thing to do, but you have a man of almost God status challenge your authority. Would you buckle under the pressure? Or would you keep your integrity and do what you know is right? President Truman was faced with this very problem in the Korean War. President Truman was determined to keep the battle from growing. General MacArthur swore, and I quote, he wanted to doom Red China by publicly advocating he wanted to drop 30 to 50 atomic bombs on China. Let's look at some statistics here. Only 26% of Americans at the time approved of Truman's leadership as president, while General MacArthur was quite literally maybe the most popular man in America, loved by the Senate and the civilians alike. Very well-respected man. So the president had the majority of America and maybe the most popular man in the country challenge his authority. Now that's a lot of pressure. It reminds me of the story of Caesar and Pompey. I'm going to do a video of that eventually, but let's find out what President Truman did. And I quote, "MacArthur is not going to be allowed to quit on me," the president wrote in his diary. "He's going to be fired." So Truman signed the orders to have General MacArthur relieved of his command. The outcry was enormous. Over 44,000 citizens sent telegrams to the White House exclaiming their disgust of Truman's decision. Only 334 of the 44,000, only 334 were in support of Truman's decision. But he said, and I quote, "The American people will come to understand that what I did had to be done." How can we take this story and relate it to our lives? Well, General MacArthur, of course I tell the story, and when anybody's telling the story, we're not dogging on General MacArthur. He's a very well-respected leader and a man that we should all respect and admire and strive to be more like. He's a man of vast intelligence, and he's a man we should all try to be more like. He's a man we should study. We should know his biography. But everyone makes mistakes. And as men, we need to learn from not only our mistakes, but other people's mistakes. And so, who might your General MacArthur be? Well, it could be your boss, a sibling, a popular kid at school, maybe even your best friend. I made a video about the value of integrity. If President Truman would have submitted to General MacArthur's request and dropped the atomic bombs, what would have happened? Just like I've explained, I don't know why integrity seems to always come down to the fate of the world with atomic weapons. It's happened several times. I don't know why that's always the case, but I don't know. 'Tis is reality. But, nevertheless, The world would be a lot different if President Truman would have submitted to General MacArthur's orders, not orders, but request of dropping 30 to 50 atomic bombs on Red China. He wanted to doom Red China. Now, where did General MacArthur go wrong? He wasn't using critical thinking. Most likely, he let his emotions take control of his critical thinking, and he acted irrationally. You really think if he would have used critical thinking and he didn't let his emotions, his hatred for Red China take over him, you think he would have wanted that same thing? If he would have weighed the situation and assessed the situation like we've talked about before, he wouldn't have made the same decision. And it cost him his job. His whole career. Yeah, he wasn't court-martialed, but he was just relieved of his duties. If he was court-martialed, that would really suck, but at least he wasn't court-martialed. So, well, I say court-martialed, I don't know if he was court-martialed, but I meant to say dishonorably discharged. He wasn't dishonorably just discharged. He was just discharged. So, let's say this is your boss. They're telling you to do something, or, so in my case, actually, no, I'm not going to tell that story. But I've been in situations where I've had a boss that wanted me to do things that I knew were not right and were against my integrity. So I didn't do them. This happens a lot in the world because people are afraid of losing their job. Brothers, I promise you, keeping your integrity, staying true to your word, is much more important than any job you will ever have in your life. And that's a promise. Your integrity is one of the most valuable things you can have. Your relationship with God, your integrity, and your time. Those might just be the three most important things you will ever have. Your relationship with God, your integrity, and your time. Crucially valuable. I can't even emphasize to you how important those things are to me, and how important they should be to you. So, who might General MacArthur be? It could be your boss, telling you to do something that you know is against your morals, your integrity, and you shouldn't do it. I promise God will bless you for doing this. And you will be rewarded. Even though it might seem like a bad idea and bad things will come of it, I promise your life will be better, and keeping your integrity will bring you infinite blessings. Could be your best friend. Maybe you guys decided to do something dumb, as teenagers do. We do a lot of dumb things. I am 100% guilty of doing a lot of dumb things. Maybe you did something dumb and you got caught, but your friends conspire and you guys make up this grand story that you want to tell your parents or your teachers or whatever, but it's a lie. It's not true. And you feel it deep down. You've been on self-improvement. You've been going to the gym. You've been meditating. You've been studying the Word of God. And you know it's not right, and you know you shouldn't do it. And you know by doing this, you're surrendering and giving up your integrity. I promise the pain and the discipline that you will suffer from doing that dumb thing is infinitely better. Infinitely better than the consequences of building a bad habit of giving up your integrity. Infinitely better. Kings, trust me, there is no punishment too bad that it's worth giving up your integrity. My rant is over. but you needed to hear it. And so did I. So, I'm going to end the video here. In conclusion, don't let anyone punk you out of doing the right thing, even if it's a 5-star general. And remember, Kings, I'm on your side.